We had this guy on Northridge Beach that he was a bartender for years. Joker Joe, they called him. And he was in Bibblewood Halls, Paunchy, you know. But he tended bar for him. So when I was crossing the street down in Valparaiso, I looked across the kitty corner and there comes a guy walking. Same height, same type of build, different coveralls, you know, with armless coveralls, you know. And it looked just like this Joker Joe in the Boulevard. Yeah.
So it wasn't your look-alike, it was that person.
Yeah.
That looked like.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were saying it was just, I met my look-alike once, it was scary.
Yeah.
It was, people kept saying, this girl, you're not her? I can't believe it. So I went, she was a waitress at one of the big hotels in San Francisco,
Yeah.
so I went and looked at her and she looked like me. It was amazing. It was scary.
Yeah, and then, let's see,
So,
we had planned to go to Kent State,
oh yeah.
but then they had the riots, you know,
Yeah.
the college riots, so
Yeah.
we steered clear of that.
Oh, okay.
Although I think we had a couple of workers down there for a while. But
Yeah, I think my dad took pictures.
yeah, I didn't go on that excursion. And they also went to University of California at Berkeley, I believe.
Oh, huh. That's cool.
We had two guys go out there, and
Good, thank you.
Dave and I went to Montreal
Oh, cool.
for an install at one of their programs.
Wow, you had quite
Yeah.
a good company
Yeah.
and great workers. Wow. Okay, well.
And
so
then in
what happened that
70 or 71, OmniLab per se, they sold their company to American Sprinkler
Oh,
of New York or something like that.
uh-huh.
And then first thing they did, about 2 weeks after they did, I may be wrong on some of these dates and stuff, but see, I'm trying to think of it as.
Well, that's okay. We'll just, generalize.
Yeah, what was that? Where did I leave off?
OmniLab, 7071, American Sprinkler Corp, New York. They were sold to them.
Automatic sprinkler or something. And one thing they promised is that they wouldn't move the company.
Oh, but they did.
But again, that's forked tongue talking, you know.
Yeah.
And they sold it to.
Wow.
I can't remember the name of
They're beautiful.
who they sold it to. You know,
That's okay.
I didn't get into the aspects of that so much.
But they moved and they closed it.
Yeah,
the new post.
but then they moved anyway.
Oh,
But they offered anybody that worked there a chance to, well, key people, of course, to go down to Florida, Pompano Beach, Florida.
Did
And
you
I
go?
think- Huh?
Did you go?
No. I think nobody went
Okay.
from OmniLab.
You stayed and did this.
Yeah.
Just wave us right on through.
So how did this all start? Let's talk about that. How did all the sort of the occupation of the dam and events leading up to that, how did that all start? I think you guys all knew each other then. What you were
I
talking
think
about.
that started in,
Well, you went to the cities.
what?
You went to AIM.
Oh, that's later.
Yeah, but
Later.
you guys started meeting first here on the res, right?
No, the way it came about was that the 50-year lease was up, and the BIA came down with their representatives and tried to talk the tribe into signing a new lease for another 50 years. But then we had one council member, Peter Larson, he objected to it. He said, this is going to take a lot more thinking and weigh the past 50 years what happened. And so
You wanted
we
to.
all get together one time. It was the council, and
When was that? Where was the meeting? Was that the trailer in reserve?
mostly it was at the trailer, some of it, but most of our work was done outside the office. You know.
Yeah,
And
My dad told me.
so we met there, and they voted it down, which probably made Norman Gabor mad.
okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you leave office shortly after that?
Yeah. At that time, here's a road that goes down to Indian. This is E. E.
Yep, through Reserve.
And then you take a right, and there was a big white building there. It was almost, we met in the basement, and then they had an upper floor.
Oh, that was the Head Start.
Huh?
The Head Start building.
Later, yeah.
Later
on, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So you met in people's
so
houses.
we left it up to the tribe after that to do all the legwork on just what would it take to re-sign that license.
So the tribal council.
Yeah, so they voted it down anyway.
Who was on the tribal council at that time?
I think it was Norman Gabor,
Yes.
Charlie Manthayer,
Okay.
Violet Hayes, I believe,
Okay.
Charlie Man, I
Charlie
think
Man.
that's what we got,
Okay.
and Pete Larson, of course. And I don't remember who else was on there.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
And he wanted to re-sign. The,
Yeah, redo it and have an expert come in, get their opinion, you know,
Oh,
do a feasibility study.
okay.
And things were moving at a snail's pace. You know, they weren't listening to us. And so, I don't know who brought AIM in. It might have been, what's his name?
Did Rick?
I
have
can't, huh?
Did Rick have something to do with that?
He got in later.
Yeah, later.
I think I think the following year he came in.
So
But they were all newly elected tribal council members
the next round.
the next meeting.
Oh, so they had their
Yeah.
the turnover right then.
Yeah.
Was that before they decided to bring AIM in or afterwards? What did they get
That was before, I believe.
before they got elected? The new ones elected. So Pete Larson and Norman Gabor still on the council?
No, not no more, no.
Yeah. So AIM came the
Right
next
after that,
council.
yeah, he was out, voted out, I believe, and I don't know who took over. Well, Rick did
Then it was
mainly.
Rick. Yeah, but Rick was chairman then.
Yeah,
And then it was Charles Quagan. It was Tiny Gouget.
Tiny Gouget, yeah. He was one of the original five that we
Yeah.
just talked about before.
Yep. I have their names over here someplace. Yeah. It was the next group of tribal council. So after they were elected,
Pardon?
after they were elected, the new tribal council,
Yeah,
then they voted to bring AIM in, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And what was your part in all of that?
He was the
I
AIM
got
leader.
involved.
You were the AIM leader.
He was the AIM leader that
That's
brought.
yeah, but that's a little bit later.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep jumping the gun.
Yeah.
Keeping you on your
Getting
toes.
to the good stuff.
I was a CAP, what they call a CAP coordinator,
Oh yeah.
Community Action Program,
Oh yeah.
and we worked on various subjects. Plus, we never hit the dam right on because they had legal minds working on it. You know, one of them was Larry Leventhal.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Working with the council.
yeah.
Was he the
I'm just
AIM
trying to-
lawyer?
put these as they happen, you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do that, but I just can't.
Mom said that too.
Yeah.
In her, she said the timeline. She can't remember exactly what
Yeah.
order it happened in. 'Cause it-
Some items I can
But-
remember right off the bat, you know, like what's your name, you know. Then other things I can sit here and forget her middle name,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
as an example, you know.
It's that
Just
short,
kidding.
short and long-term memory. It
Yeah.
gets all
Yeah.
jumbled together.
You usually will recall it after some time, though. A lot of times you will remember eventually.
Right, when you're taking a shower or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next council voted to bring AIM in, and how did they tell them, or how did they ask them to come in?
It was either Tiny or Pete, I believe now, were relegated to that job of inviting AIM.
Did they call them, or did they go over to Minnesota?
I don't know how they did it, but
Okay.
it might have been at a council meeting, it might have been bar talk, I don't know. But
Yeah. I know they did a lot of that.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, the tribal council voted to move forward. And then what happened? What were you doing during that time?
I was
You're-
self-employed,
You're the CAB coordinator,
yeah.
and then
Well, after that, I was maybe before that, I was self-employed as a painter.
oh my goodness, you did a lot.
We painted houses and garages and stuff. I and my uncle, Kenny.
Oh yeah.
And then after that, I don't know why Nona Laranji was a CAP coordinator. And I don't know why she was let go.
Huh.
All I know is they advertised for it and I applied and I got a job, you know, as a CAP coordinator.
Okay.
We worked with Rick St. Germain and
Okay.
the other one. Wasn't a tribal member, I don't believe.
Okay. Yep, the kids, the NYC kids. I was one of those.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So.
So then I collected unemployment for a while. Oh, and I worked for Impact 7.
Yeah, that's where my dad was too.
Is that, remember that, Impact 7?
Yeah, in Rice Lake.
I worked for them for a year. And then I think I was just loafing, resting, and my brother comes by one day hey, we signed up for college courses, he said. He said that no cost involved, it's paid for by grant monies, you know. So Fred, my brother Fred, and John Quarterer, another friend, he rode up to Duluth with us every day we had school.
Oh.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a semester or two, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays we'd have off. And we used to see all these wildlife.
Yeah.
Run along the road, and stand on the edges, you know, and just shook my head and I said, geez, sake, we could have all that if we had our rights to hunt and fish, you know?
Oh, so
So-
that's where you were going to St. Scholastica.
Yeah, we
Oh.
went to St. Scholastica. I went,
Who was teaching that class? Was that John?
John was in charge of the program, John Anderson.
Okay.
And Clyde, I forget his last name, not
Belcourt.
yeah, it wasn't that one yet.
Okay.
Belcourt,
Okay.
yeah, and
Okay.
I can't remember. Oh,
So what was
he got Eddie Benton to come to work after we left.
to work where?
He stayed up at either UMD or UWS. I can't remember which one. I don't think he went to Scholastica.
Was it Ladysmith? That one down there?
No, it was one of those colleges, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And so our travels, we discussed tribal councils and where they're headed and what's going on, and things weren't happening as fast as we expected or wanted them to. And one of our meetings, just, I think Rick St. Germain was there, and myself, and a couple other council members. We worked on that, approaching AIM, and see if they would come up
Yeah.
and help us do a demonstration or something to get the attention, because the state and the feds were just dragging their feet, never making a commitment for nothing.
Yeah.
And the tribe had plans, but I don't know. We was never in on the negotiations, you know.
Like, yeah. So you wanted they
Yeah.
wanted your help to be activists,
Yeah,
to occupy and all that.
activists.
Activists.
I never
To be
heard the
active.
term.
So can I ask, what was that class? What was the name of the class that you were all taking that John Anderson was teaching when you all decided to, take over? Well, go and test the Voight decision thing. Was that tribal law or conservation?
No, it's, in them days things were done haphazardly, kind of like do it now and then pay the consequences later,
Yeah.
Nothing really major.
Yeah.
No, what was the class?
Was it just a regular Native Studies class?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, is that what the question
Yeah,
was?
yeah.
Yeah. We had Larry Leventhal, a professor, or a lawyer out of Minneapolis. He was doing great things for the tribe as the attorney,
Yeah, he was.
and he didn't sit around at powers like some I know. And so
Amusing.
part of the Larry took the class, divided it up, pro and cons. What do you want? Pro and cons about the classes being divided, and what was going to be the results. Well, I figured, I took a year of bookkeeper
Okay.
when I was at UMD, and I crossed class with St. Scholastica.
Okay.
So one semester, John comes in and tells us that he's going to start a new program and get everybody talked to that you can about it,
Yeah, he was good at that.
Yeah. And we even had the governor.
Lucy?
Yeah, the governor came up.
Yeah, he was good at that too.
I think it was a one term. If I remember correctly. And
One semester.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, we decided to go to Pro Road. Yeah, and then actually we won the debate too. It was a debate,
Oh, there's a debate about tribal.
and then treaties. Treaties was our specialty,
Okay.
And
Oh, good. And that was at St. Scholastica.
finally one day on our way home,
See you later. Okay, bye.
who's that?
Nanya.
Wait a minute, I remember shelling out $60 on that.
Not exactly,
Oh, okay.
but yes, I'll be paying you back.
Just keep it.
No, I'll pay you back.
Yes.
I didn't have cash on me.
You
yesterday.
need that.
I went to the ATM. No, I'm fine.
Keep it.
Anyway, we took
I
that
say
class
keep it.
of Indian studies and the study of treaties.
Yes.
So on our way home one day, we were talking about it. Of course, we got 80, 90 miles to drive, and we can talk about it. And I led the discussion with Fred second and maybe John to get their input and see what they recommended. And I said, well, we'll have to ask our attorney. I said, because we studied 3 different treaties, 1837, 54, and
42.
42. I keep forgetting your age. Of course, I could add another
I wish.
2 decades on it.
I wish I was
So after class one day, we were walking down the hallway, and all those trees were hanging around, you know. So we asked, Larry came walking by, Leventhal.
Yeah, Larry
And Fred says, hey, here, Larry, he says, what does this mean? He says, all these treaties say the same about hunting and fishing on ceded territory. He said, well, we've never been allowed to hunt and fish in ceded territory unless you had a state license. Wow. We didn't. So what does it mean if we get this? How do we go about getting this in the court? And he said, well, he said the best way would be to go out and get arrested,
Test it.
and then, of course, you're going to appeal, you know, the charges. And so right after that, we got Larry told us about a lawyer, which it turned out to be Larry Leventhal, about taking this further and turning it over to the tribe so each one could get organized the way they wanted them to, you know. And he said, well, I'll get arrested. I said, what can we do? I says, I got no money for fines or time off or jail, you know. And he says, well, I think they got a program called Judicare. Judicare. You can see them, you know, because the tribe wouldn't give us a penny because they didn't have it, you know. They were just newly formed. They had no budget, no nothing. And
They had the dam.
well, we decided upon that, and we thought it over. And a couple of days later, I said, during a lull in the fishing, I said, let's go over and fish over there. Get ourselves a ticket for hunting and fishing out of season. Well, that didn't mean a hill of beans to us, you know. Sure enough, we dug a hole and we set up a fish shack halfway between the halfway point of the lake and the land. And it's right off a Tyner outlet. And we did it in the afternoon, around 4 o'clock. And then we went back the next day, and I was there for about an hour. And Fred said he heard footsteps coming. He thought it was me because I had run down to another fish shack and borrowed a decoy. But I got over there with my snowmobile, and there was Fred talking to the Mordens outside the fish shack. Fred tried to show him, well, look, here's a treaty right here. He says, this is our law. This is our land that we're allowed to hunt and fish on. No, they never listened to it, you know.
Who was it?
So,
The DNR? Was it the DNR?
Yeah. And the judge,
The judge was there?
Judge Kelsey, was there.
Was there?
Yeah.
Wait, they were at when you got arrested?
Oh, no, they weren't
Oh,
there.
no,
No.
Okay, just the DNR.
Nobody wanted to go to jail but us.
Was the game warden?
Oh, the game warden.
Yeah, game warden.
Okay.
2 of them,
Okay.
Larry Miller and Milt Dykeman,
Okay. Yeah.
and a Sawyer County deputy who was Wayne Corbine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So you guys went to jail?
Well, no, they just gave us a
Gift
ticket citation.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
And I got another citation for driving my snowmobile without registration with the track,
Oh,
you
of
know.
course.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And we know how that all turned out.
So we got a hold of a guy by the name of Peter Sparaza. And he came up and he met with us and said he'd take the case, you know. Don't worry about the money, we got money for it. And I said, well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, really.
And then we went to court and pled guilty, or not guilty,
Oh.
and but the judge ordered us guilty, and any liens or fines would be put out aside until they got a direct order on what to do, you know. Because there were other appeal process on their agenda, but I don't know what they were.
So
I know Bad River, Redcliffe, they had a test, I don't know if they had a test case on fishing in Lake Superior. I know they were in a court at that time. I never knew about it at the time, of course I found out later.
did they win theirs?
Huh?
Did they win theirs?
I don't know. See, I don't know what happened.
But you guys won yours
Yeah.
after how many
No,
years?
no, no. We
How
were
many-
found guilty.
Oh,
But she's saying, and about 10 years later, you finally won.
10 years later.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You had to
83.
17 years later.
17.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way, way later.
Wow.
74 or 2 till 83.
83.
11 years, I think.
11 years, yeah.
And
And then from there on, we made one more appearance up in Ashland in their district court or something. And of course, the same thing happened. Found guilty, appeal, fine, stayed pending outcome of other cases, you know.
okay.
And then
So-
from there on, we didn't have much to do with the. It was all between the lawyers for Wisconsin Judicare and the DNR and Forest Service. We could only follow what went through with. If we happen to run into anybody that might have any knowledge of it, you know, but nobody did, you know, until '83.
So,
This guy needs to write an article for the Sawyer County Record. What was his name?
Terrell Betcher, he was around forever.
Oh,
I don't know.
let's see here. I can see him. No.
Well, maybe we can talk about how that all overlapped with the dam and how AIM started coming in. Did AIM help with any of this?
I'd like to get into this powwow first
Yeah.
instead of the dam, you know.
Okay.
Because this happened first.
Yeah. Okay.
We researched one day and we found out that LCO used to be the hub of powwows. They hadn't any in, I don't know, 30 well-meaningful powwows like this, you know. We never nowhere near the participants. Well, Monty Diamond says, you know, people come from, it was all a contest powwow. And when we had trouble paying off the guests, those who had money coming, was supposed to be handled by Eddie Bent. So I remember the Sunday night after the last powwow, and because we had run a tournament, a golf tournament the same day, and the winners, I had them come out to the powwow grounds to collect. But that didn't work out so good because Eddie wouldn't come out of his tent. And he's the one that said he'd raise the money for, you know.
Oh, and now that
And
you
so
find
we
it.
became discouraged, and finally, I guess I left. And finally, I left, and I don't know if I went home or just went visiting, you know.
Was that about 71 or 72?
Yes,
Yeah, it was with the golf tournament. I was there with Mom and Rick.
70 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 11 or 12.
Anyway, since we had a bad experience with that first contest call, Monty spoke up and said, you know, years ago, he said, we had a powwow. People would come by horse and buggy, horse and wagon.
Exactly.
They'd get there to the powwow, and they didn't expect nothing, you know. Maybe one meal or something like that. And he says, let's go back to regular powwow, no prize monies.
Coming together.
Yeah.
What?
Coming together.
Yeah.
No prize money. Exactly. Yeah, Whitefish used to be, they used to have multi-day gatherings
Yeah.
at Whitefish on Potato Road, and that whole field was full of people.
Wow.
And they said they lasted for several days. And you would come from Rice Lake, from all around,
Yeah.
and just stay there.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah.
So they came because of their tradition.
And it was spiritual. It used to be.
You know, they didn't
That's kind of how it is.
bounce around looking for pay, you know, to go to different powwows. And I don't know how we ever landed the third week in July. We also, at the time,
I know.
Yeah.
We
I
know.
do too, yeah.
How,
at the time, I was running.
Yep, it was Mom's birthday. So Rick and the council members were talking about when should we have it, and Rick asked Mom, and Mom said, "Well, the third weekend in July is my birthday."
Oh,
So
okay.
that's how it's always on her birthday weekend.
Yeah.
July 18th. That's her birthday. Yeah.
Well, your birthday just cost me a roll of thought here. How old are you now?
I'm 62. I'm going to be 63 this year.
You signed up for social?
I need to do that. I haven't
Yeah.
done it yet. But
You can do it at 62.
I can do that. I know. I was hoping to make a little more money, but I think I might sign up for Social Security.
It won't cost you nothing.
Yeah, I know.
You can only make
Whatever you make.
up to 13,000
Oh,
unless they change that.
that's not a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping to actually get a full-time job, but I don't know. Even working full-time seems not that appealing to me now. It's
Yeah.
like there's so many other things to do. It'd be nice to have a good full-time job. I might keep looking.
Well, I had after going to school or work for 53 years, I decided to give it up.
Oh, well, good. You have a lot of kids and grandkids to keep you busy.
Yeah. Some they don't know about.
Mike, you want some
Maybe.
ice water or apple juice with ice or lemonade with ice?
I'll have apple juice with ice.
Okay.
Do you want me to get it?
Sure. Put in a large cup and go with ice. The little glass cups are not big enough.
Oh.
There's some other cups there. Maybe the red plastic cups over there.
Is it okay if I put mom's birthday reference in?
Sure. That'd be cool.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to recognize her, I think.
Maybe your neighbors up there will wish you happy birthday.
Mr. Benton?
Oh, yeah.
Are they leaving you alone now?
Well, they moved supposedly, so when they're
Oh.
gone, they're leaving me alone. And
There's
that's-
nobody there?
Well, there's a little guy that is sort of he's special needs, and they're renting it to him for $500 a month.
Oh.
But it doesn't have any water. The water doesn't work.
Oh.
So he gets water out of the lake in the morning and dips it out with jugs. Isn't that?
You should be able to drop a well there.
Yeah, I know. But I think they have to sell that lot to somebody else. Yeah, it's a lease lot, so they have to give it to somebody else. They can't. They have 2 other houses. They can't have 3 houses on a lease lot because that's illegal.
Thank you. David, want something to drink? I was looking for that picture on there where you got Rick St. Germain on that wall with a spray can of paint.
Oh, I know, huh?
Indian Power, he was trying to write on them. Then years later, he tried to say, no, he was never there. I said,
Looks
Rick,
like
look at
him.
this pic here.
I didn't do that. He was the first tagger at LCO.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know. Well, that is a good point about wanting to do traditional powwow instead of a contest
Yeah.
powwow because
Yeah,
that would not have worked.
it was Monty's idea.
Monty's idea. For,
Yeah.
Okay.
Who was on the committee when you guys were meeting?
Pardon?
Who was on the committee?
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was Rick. He was the chairman.
Yeah.
And it was Monty. It was Tiny Gouget. It was a Quagan. One of the Quagans, Charlie Quagan, I think.
Charlie.
I think Charlie was later.
And then it was Violet Hayes.
Violet Hayes, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he was. I got my numbers mixed up with him because I never read or hear about him much.
You were on there too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were on the council?
No.
Oh,
No.
but you were on the committee.
Committee, just being on the committee, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What was the committee called? Was it?
No name.
Just,
No name committee.
It was
just-
the development committee.
yeah.
Okay.
I think your mom maybe took notes
Oh.
a few times.
Yeah.
I think.
She was. Then she became the tribal administrator for 8 years after
Yeah.
that.
Glass cups.
Yeah.
They're glass cups.
Tribal. Yeah. So the reconstruction committee called it or something like that. Rick St. Germain called it something like that. Yeah. So Rick St. Germain was there.
Yeah.
So how did the dam come about? Can we get to that part? So
Yeah, we had no response from any of those offices, state or federal, as to our renewing this license. And so AIM with Eddie, myself, Belcourt,
who is it?
Clyde Belcourt,
Bumper?
Yeah. Rick, of course. It may have been Charlie Quagan, but I don't think so. It may be.
It's in Mom's book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rick named them all. And she named them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Anyway, we a big event was coming up that weekend with Historyland, or the log rolling place there, you know.
Was it
Yeah,
Buffy St.
and,
Marie? Was it Buffy?
Huh?
Buffy St. Marie? Was it that?
Yeah, she was here too.
fundraiser?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sashi and Littlefeather.
Oh yeah.
Remember her?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Rick got me Marlon Brando's autograph. I still have it.
Oh, yeah?
Back then, when they were interacting with Marlon. Sashi.
My mom was seated at the same table right next to Marlon Brando at a
Oh.
banquet they had there.
Where was
And
this?
she says, I didn't know what to say.
I know, huh?
Like,
What did
you
you say?
get flabbergasted. Just say anything.
Forget your name. I don't see those people.
Where was this?
Marlon.
Somewhere in Minnesota, I forget the name of the place.
He's never told me this story.
Oh, I know. Huh? I still have Marlon's
Yeah, Marlon
autograph.
Brando, yeah.
Oh, really?
from that time when they were interacting with Marlon and Sasheen and yeah, Hollywood.
I had a greater interest in it. I wanted to meet Sashi and Littlefeather.
Yeah, I bet. She was beautiful.
She was beautiful, right?
And so was Buffy.
Telling her that I talked to her for about a half hour when the powwow was over here, the other side of the school.
Oh my
you know.
goodness. Oh.
That's where I think the first 2 years we had a powwow there. And then we moved up to Round Lake as we were going through this recapture procedure.
Okay.
Let's see, Vic. I went up to a cabin up towards Brule. And we went back there, going to have to meet with General Electric, I believe it was,
Oh.
or somebody else about paying the damages that were done. You know? And at this cabin was, you remember this Nelson, what's his name?
Gaylord Nelson? The
Gaylord
sen-
Nelson
the
was a senator.
Yeah.
And he was there.
Wow. On
And,
Round Lake?
we met on,
On Round Lake? Or where? Wasn't that at the Head Start?
no, we met up in toward Brule that way,
Oh.
at a cabin.
Oh,
It was
wow.
owned by this one family, Martin family, or
Huh.
Louis, what the heck was his name? His assistant.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And we met up there that time with I and Rick Baker. No, Eddie Benton.
Huh.
And they said, well, what do you want? You know, well, we want free telephone lines come in, you know, well, people having to pay for them, you know, and a whole bunch of demands.
Yeah.
Well, we said, we'll see what we can do. Then after that was done, I didn't, I just took it as it came then, you know. I wasn't contributing anything for a while.
Yeah, so
And I
you,
got involved in this Honor the Earth golf tournament,
yeah.
which would be our 50th year this year.
Yes, I was at the first one probably
Yeah,
with you and Marilyn. And,
yeah.
I mean, Margaret. And, yeah.
So once we got the powwow
I have a
circuit,
picture of you
yeah,
at that golf tournament.
once we got that going and settled down, then I left this committee, Honor the Earth committee, to take on the other one, you know,
Golf?
which was quite superfluous at the time. And well, we ended up doing it anyway. We had a meeting at the Hayward Country Club upstairs, and there was about 35 golfers stayed over for the meeting, and we decided to voted to decide a committee, chair, vice chair, whatever else, and coordinate all these tournaments, you know. And so we did. We had one year we had 7 tournaments.
Yeah, I see. You guys have a lot of input.
Yeah, and then then it slowly dwindled because the guys were getting older and they didn't
Yeah.
want to golf that much anymore, and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
in fact, I'd be out there today golfing if
Not
my
for this.
if my company was
Golf,
busy, you know.
golfing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Well,
that
thanks
ran
for
well.
taking
We had
time.
that ran well. We had a junior division for a while, but then the Oneidas were the only tribes that provided enough junior interest.
Okay. Yep.
And so after 45 years, I stepped down. My brother stepped down. He was there that long, but he stepped down.
So much yesterday, and I couldn't put my finger
And,
on it, and I was talking to Grandma, and she was like, "Yeah, that was."
And now it's out of my hands. They can
So I
run
put
the
everything on Google Maps.
they can run the powwow now because they got the youth
Yeah.
to
Yes.
do it.
Good job.
He got
And that's anyway.
How-
At one of our
Yeah, I kind of heard about it.
meetings in Round Lake,
But I guess they're moving or something. I don't know.
at mini
Whatever.
powwow,
Things come and go.
it was all AIM members.
Yeah.
And there was, I don't know, 30, 40 members, you know.
Yeah. From where?
And one of the things we did was Monty Diamond had shot a bear cub.
Yeah, I haven't brought him there. Are they open?
And so it amazed me that somebody went to town and get them garbage cans, big ones, you know, the silver ones.
Yeah.
I went there in
And
May.
they filled it 3/4 full with water and threw in
Bear soup.
one stick carrots and potatoes
Oh,
and
wow.
whatever else, you know. And I remember Larry Leventhal, he was at the end of it,
Oh, yeah.
and he wanted some bear meat, so he was in there with his hands, right in the soup.
He was funny.
Yeah, I
He
think
drove
he
with
got,
2 feet. I rode with him. He
Yeah,
had one
I
foot on
remember
the brake and one
Yeah.
foot on the gas, and he was like, I was scared.
Steve Taylor used to pick me up in Reserve there and
Okay.
take me to town on
Yeah.
Monday or Tuesday nights. to go bowling in the bowling league. So I rode with him out there, and he was
You
like
drive
that.
like that?
Zoom,
That's so bizarre.
zoom,
I guess
It
people were just
drove me
learning how to
nuts.
drive.
Yeah, it drove me nuts.
So in those powwows at Round Lake, were those
Oh, then we started talking about
everything else?
the dam.
Yeah.
How we're going to get attention to it, and how we're going to attack it. And so decided to go ahead with an occupation. So half of our crowd went to Hayward to make a statement at the Lumberjack Bowl.
Oh, is that where the fundraiser was?
Yeah, I don't know if it was that time.
Okay.
And the other half, we went down to the Winter Dam. And there was about, I don't know, 30 people, I guess, in one group and maybe 20 in the other group.
Yeah.
Anyway, they came back and we talked some more, and they said, well, the fence was locked up, chain link fence,
Oh yeah.
and I had it locked and blocked. So Dennis, what's his name? Dennis Banks.
Thanks. Yeah.
He took Jim's station wagon, Jim White's,
Oh yeah.
and I got in the car with him.
You did?
Yeah, and we broke through the fence.
Can I write that down?
Yeah, and then we stopped, and they had 4 Pinkerton agents, and with I think 1 or 2 dogs, you know. And so we walked out in the middle of the dam, and their representative walked out. And Dennis says, "We're here to occupy this dam," he says. "We're not going to do any harm. We're not going to jump any valves or whatever. And we're going to make our people adhere to that."
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. We went back and we said, we're going to stay camped here and we're going to stay off the dam, you know. And so that's how that went for
You told them to stay off the dam.
3 days. We were there like, I think 4 days, 3 or 4 days occupation.
Yeah.
And then the state and the Fed decided to meet with the tribe, you know,
Yeah.
and renegotiate that 50-year lease. And you see today the results of that lease and stuff.
And how long did that take to renegotiate it? Was that before the feast at Reserve? Or did that go on for a long time?
Feast at Reserve.
So that week where the occupation of the dam was,
Yeah.
after about 4 or 5 days, there was a feast down at Head Start at Reserve.
Oh.
There was a feast and
Yeah, I didn't participate in that. I know I heard about it.
that's Gaylord Nelson showed up there. And
Yeah.
so did Governor Lucy.
I don't know.
Hi, Jim.
Just chat.
Did you give me one?
Hey,
No, I'm just kidding.
come back later when it's cooler.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the same.
Maybe pick up my grandkids.
They were here last night.
See if they didn't make it last night.
You at the clubhouse?
Work and then the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Played till 2:30. Had to get up at 7:30 again this morning.
So working life, you gotta do it. The
Yeah.
honor of the earth, it's busy.
Tough, man.
You gotta-
Busiest weekend of the year too.
Yeah. Yep. Just gotta do it. Work
Yeah.
120 hours a week, you can do it.
They said from 8 o'clock on all until closing is just lines.
Yeah. Yeah. I used
At the
to
gas
do
station?
retail when it was like that, lines out the door. Yeah.
We were
gotta
ready
do it.
though. We
It'll end.
loaded it down and got ready for it.
Won't be
To
long.
extend the closing at all? No.
We still only got 5 cashiers. We need 13, 14.
Oh. So okay. State and federal. Did you want to talk to him?
There's your job for you.
I know, huh? I can do that.
Cashier.
I used to manage retail like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Hawaii and on the West Coast.
Okay, where we
Okay,
at now?
So we're at 3 or 4 days occupation. After that, the state and feds decided to meet with the
Yeah.
tribe.
Yeah, she asked you how long it took for them to negotiate.
That'd be a couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for helping to remember.
Sometimes it's hard of hearing, so I like to.
Oh yeah, me too.
I thought your hair was blonde at one time.
Yeah, I used to highlight it, and then the sun would just make it just blonde.
Yeah.
It would. I'm getting that a little bit now, except it's a different color blonde.
I said, there's no Indian blood there. It's all Hawaiian. I said,
It's intense. I was in the water every day in California,
Yeah.
so just the sun and the salt sea just made it.
yeah.
But now it's just a different color.
Yeah. Mine's one color and it's going to stay one color.
I know, huh? One day I'll just let it go because I'm still dyeing my roots.
Yeah.
Still not used to it. But
still
men
got
can get away with that.
I still got a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Still got a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I
So-
think it's still in the
So-
it's in the culture center.
What's he going to get?
That
You want something to eat?
Need some more?
wait, he's a no trouble member. Not Indian.
He's bored. Maybe you should take him for a walk or something. Maybe.
Oh, that's fine.
All right.
So
Get going here.
okay, so it took a couple weeks to negotiate with the tribe. And was that the council members or did
Tribal
members
lawyers. The lawyers. Yeah. And
then-
whoever else, the state and the feds, and, I think, in fact, that legal program I was telling you about,
Oh, Judy Care.
Judicare, yeah,
Okay. Wow, they did a lot. That's great.
yeah.
Did people continue to occupy the dam?
No.
Were there still people there? They left after a couple of
We,
weeks.
there was a few disgruntled people that it didn't turn out more stronger than it did, and said, "I won't stay here overnight again." But Dennis went and told everybody, "No, it's signed and settled." He says, "So just go home."
So there was an agreement that was signed after a couple of weeks.
No,
No.
it was a word of mouth agreement.
They're just trying to get holding you around.
Whether they got something official after that, I don't know.
I heard, well, Rick St. Germain said, well, they had that feast at
Same woman. Same woman.
the Reserve Head Start on the 12th of August. So they had the feast with Gaylord Nelson and Governor
Oh,
Lucey
absolutely.
and all that. So they agreed on something to negotiate all the
They must have,
terms.
because that was my birthday.
Oh, well, good. They had a
August
feast
12th.
for you.
See you guys
Wow.
after water.
All right, you sticking around here or leaving? Huh?
Go home and take a break.
Oh, okay.
Which is more important, the phone number? Are you going to send us something by email?
Both if you want to.
Okay. So yeah, they
Yeah, I was
were
gonna say- I was
negotiating.
saying the email.
Yeah,
right?
they were.
Negotiating. So that was the happy thing. They decided to negotiate. And AIM was part of that, and they were happy with everything. What did they say about it all?
We went along with the tribe.
Yeah, I'd be interested. I think it's 100
Never
years.
created
That's what they were
any
saying.
animosity or anything against it.
That's great.
I pushed for it here quite a bit,
Yeah.
for the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Then it started getting nobody hardly will ever show up,
Oh.
2, 3 people.
Oh. So
So
they,
I just let it go then.
yeah.
Boy Scouts.
So they pretty
They're
much
making
did
stuff
their
like this all the time.
work.
And
They
it's
did
funny,
what they
it's kinda
set out to
funny.
do, which was
So
help.
that
Yeah,
They got that call
Yeah,
from
we did it the old
people at LCO, tribal council,
I guess so.
and then they came over.
I thought you went to AIM and then brought that here. When was that?
Put the eyebrows back on.
Well, we went down, George Taguma, Tiny Gouget, and myself.
Yeah.
Huge sheets
went down to Minneapolis because
Oh.
Tiny had a appointment with the BIA. So after our meeting, we were driving down this one street. Now it's called Franklin Avenue,
Yeah.
and there's a big storefront across from us, it says American Indian Movement. I said, hey, let's stop and go in there and see what this is about, And so we did. And Clyde was the only one in the office then of the officers, but he met with us for over 3 hours,
Oh, wow.
telling us everything AIM stood for, what it's accomplished are, and what they expected,
Yeah.
They said they would never involve tribal politics. Don't get involved with tribal politics. And then that's where it went from there.
Unless you get called. And then they were called by the council after that. So you guys were the first contact. You from OmniLab. You guys, my dad, you, and Tiny. He wasn't OmniLab, but he was part of the council. So you guys were the first really people to go ask for some assistance. Wow, that's a good point.
So your dad is an AIM leader too?
Yeah, well, he passed away a couple of years ago, but he was for Native Hawaiians resistance. He helped the Native Hawaiians when he moved back to Hawaii. He did the same thing. He organized. He went to all the meetings. He held the meetings. He videotaped them with the congressmen and got the leaders of the government, the Hawaiian government, out. And then there'd be all these Hawaiian people to meet with them, and they were trying to get their land back from the government of Hawaii. So they did. They started getting plots back for Native Hawaiians, and now they have Native Hawaiian plantation plots that went back to the Native Hawaiians. So he was an activist too. I mean, vocal activism on the ground, work that AIM does, that you guys do, that everybody does in indigenous communities. When you need help, you have to organize, and you have to talk to the right people and get the leaders to respond. Yeah. My dad, you, and all the other guys, Monty Diamond.
Is your dad
Tiny. George?
still living yet?
No.
No?
Yeah, he had cancer for about 6 or 7 years.
Oh.
And then he passed away a couple of years ago. But he stayed in his house. My sister's kids, my nieces, took care of him. They had a hospital bed in the end the last 6 months set up in the living room of his house, and they had CNAs coming in every day. So he was ready to go. So
I had one of our trips to Hawaii.
oh.
I got a hold of him by phone, and I said, "What are you doing up there, George?" He said, "Oh, I can't tell you." He says,
I can't tell you. Yeah, they were working for the sovereignty movement of Native Hawaiians.
I said, "That's a secret." He said, "I can't tell you." And I said, "What do you mean you can't tell me?" I said, "You had the same thing over in the States, with the tribes." Oh yeah, but we got to go meeting island to island,
Yeah, and they were trying to set up the kingdom again.
Yeah.
They were trying to set up the earls and all the different kingships. And he would videotape all the meetings. So he had before he passed away, I was cleaning his bedroom out, and he had just a huge bank of all the tapes that he had recorded all those years of Native Hawaiian sovereignty meetings, and what they were planning and what they were doing.
So what did you do with the tapes?
So I called the KCC, the community college, and asked if they would, got some interns that they could transcribe and make DVDs. And they said, oh yeah, and they never called back.
So you still got them?
So there's still, my dad's house someplace. Yeah, I know. And I don't talk to my sister, so I don't know what's going to happen to them. I hope somebody saves them. Yeah, I hope somebody does. So what was the greatest thing that you guys did over this all of these different?
The major thing here was the Winter Dam takeover.
Yeah.
And our tribe wasn't as really aggressive as other tribes, you know. I think they've always tried to be a peaceful nation, but Shamukaman influence is and that another incident was this talking Indian on Main Street in Hayward. At, I forget the guy's name. I still remember his name. But there's a little statue of Indian, you know.
That cigar.
It had a drum here and a handle here.
Yeah.
He says, he says, come by on sale. He says, come and see this Indian beadwork, he says. And then on a tape playback, it says, Indians, work them all winter, making moccasins. Yeah. And so me and Dennis Banks went there again and told him, hey, that's derogatory, racial. We suggest you move this statue out of the public eye, you know. Or otherwise we'll come, rope it, and drag it out of town. That night he put his statue away, you know.
Good.
And then he moved it in the back of the store.
Yeah.
And then he changed the tape recording on it.
That's so good.
You know.
That's a good way to use your influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he complied pretty good, so we had no more problems with him. They did put that statue back out, only
It didn't happen.
dressed as a Norwegian or something, you know.
Yeah.
And his talk was just level, you know, not degrading, you know. Yeah.
That's great.
That's a good.
That's a
Not as
change.
bad as it got, you know.
Yeah. That's a wonderful thing. That's all you can do is suggest, and then beyond that, then take action.
Yeah.
Like at the dam, that was a good thing.
And you can see what evolved today. Great Lakes Intertribal Council, WTC. In the summertime, I think they employ between 300 and 500 people, I think. And all these different programs, you know, and, teaching the kids the custom and the ways, you know. And, now we got a charter school up there, and the language, they got language now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All this reflects back on the work that the people did back in the olden days, you know. Will go down in history as they write it.
Yeah, well, it even started with you guys at OmniLab making those computer language systems in different languages. That was amazing.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't know the details either, but I keep getting that same story from a couple other people. So, that
Which one?
Where you guys made those computer systems for the colleges that taught different languages.
What did we do to computers?
She said that you built computer languages, right?
Computer systems
The computer systems
that taught the different languages.
that taught the different languages.
Oh yeah, whatever you wanted to hear, you know.
Wow.
They supplied you with a pair of headsets and a screen, and had a bank of Crown tape recorders. They had 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 20. That's 20.
Wow.
Spots that were open, so you could put in language, or English, or French, or any foreign language.
Yeah, you can put in a
Even
Google.
in math, math problems.
Wow.
So that's a good idea. It was just out of its time,
Yeah. It was ahead of its time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So you've been doing good work all this time, standing up for the right thing, occupying, resisting, teaching. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
Leaders back then really set the stage for the next generations, which is great. So I'm so happy and proud that you guys all did that together, and Mom and my dad and my stepfather and you guys and your wives and brothers and sisters all did that. That's wonderful. So thank you for doing that. Standing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And doing the right thing.
Without knowing the consequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where we at
Scary
here?
to do.
So you get, okay, so out of that, the Main Street changes to the native statue down on Main Street. And then you and Dennis did that. And then out of the changes, Glyphwick or Glitzy or Glyphwick, was that GLITC?
Yeah.
Came about, and it employs 300 to 500 people, and you teach kids in the charter school the language and how it's so much different than it was back in the 1970s and late 60s when there was so much poverty. There was no school, there was no medical, there was no tribal office building. Yeah, so you got to feel some pride.
Yeah. As a camp coordinator, I worked with some educational people about what was I going to say now? Something to do with getting that. Oh, we had wrote a planning grant for a grant to invest in starting schools or how to get schools going. And so we had it all set up for K through 3 in New Post at that school building. And when that was going on, Hayward students, Indian students, had a walkout.
That was a walkout. Yeah.
And Terry and Jeff here, they were in that walkout. But that got all messed up too for anybody wanted to take the reins, It was open, they could have.
They could have taken what?
Reins,
Reins?
run the thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody did. Nobody did? Or
Yeah, somebody did. Well, they had the walkout.
they had the walkout.
So right away then, we went to K through 6. And that was only a day or two, and then they went full grades.
To like
that
first
came
through
out
12.
of, yeah.
Yeah. And where was that located? Was that in the old tribal office building?
Yeah.
Yeah, they started.
Well, we were in the trailer for a while, and then Rick Baker had written a proposal to some organization for charity. What was the name of that? Anyway, they funded the tribe $25,000. With 15 of that was supposed to go to tribal offices, and 15,000 was supposed to go to outside activities. So what Rick wanted to do was to build a bar with that. Yeah, he pushed.
Was that in the tribal office building?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard that.
On the other half of it, yeah. He built the bar there. Yeah. Then later on, it changed over to a gas station.
In the tribal office building?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just outside the road a little bit.
Okay. Oh, the first gas station.
Yeah. And so then that's where this school system, and then you see the results here now of all that work that was done.
And then it was built
Years
Yep.
ago,
Started
yeah.
in the tribal office building. Yeah, and then I wonder who wrote those grants then. Rick.
When did I
Rick,
what?
Rick wrote the grants
No.
during that time, or there was a grant writer. There.
I wrote the grant for the school,
Oh, cool.
but I didn't write the grants for the education of it, you know.
Oh, okay.
I wrote a $600,000 block grant to build a school.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Right up where the older one is now. I don't know if you can still see it to this day. And
Yeah.
and that was one other thing we did.
Housing.
We didn't have much to do with housing,
Somebody
that I can't remember anyway.
And then the clinic. They
Yeah, that
nominated-
clinic I laid the groundwork with a proposal for. It was only $10,000, I think,
Oh,
for the thing about establishing the clinic, you know. And they went from there. What they got now, you know, they just added on a little bit. The dental office used to be in the tribal office. One little cubby hole about
Yeah.
half this size
yeah.
was the doctor's.
Yeah, and then down in the Head Start building, they had a little closet where the
Yeah.
doctor would come every week and meet with people.